Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. I know what you're thinking. You said you're not going to stream for a few days. But you know what? With me fasting, with Ramadan, evenings kind of drag on. It gets a bit boring. So what do? You watch some Champions League football and then you stream. So I'm back streaming tonight. A different type of stream tonight. We're not gonna have the regular preview and all that kind of stuff. Today it's just about what is this? Well, Benfica got okay. Benfica are 3-3. But last time I left it, they were 3-1 down. Anyway, tonight's stream is just talking. We're going to be discussing stuff that relates to Chelsea. It's just going to be a mellow, relaxed evening. I want to talk about Rudiger. I want to talk about the bid to buy Chelsea Football Club. I want to talk about the Champions League defeat at the hands of Real Madrid. I want to talk about Chelsea. And I want to talk about what you guys want to talk about in the chat. I will be putting the link in the chat very soon to give you guys a chance to jump on and give me your thoughts and opinions. And like I said, tonight's stream is just a mellow, relaxed stream. No stress, no pressure, no, what's the word here? No restrictions. We're going to talk about what you guys want to talk about. And I want to just start by saying, John Arnold, yesterday you left early and my outro was without your subtitles and a lot of people were disappointed. I know Jeff was looking for you and he's like, where is John Arnold? Where did he go? You must have fell asleep because we did go to the early hours of the morning. There's Jeff. He's just jumped in. He was looking for you, John. So big up to you, John. I hope you stay awake until the end of the stream because if you don't, I might have to change my outro. Courtney, big up. Atletico Madrid. I'm looking at the scoreline. It's 0-0. So it looks like Man City are going to go through. Courtney, big up to you. Luke Mudway, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Jeff. Yeah, I know, Jeff. You were looking for John. You were looking for him, and you're like, this outro ain't the same without John and his laser quick keyboard skills. I have with me someone new. And I want you guys to do me a favor before the stream ends. We're gonna be here for a couple of hours, and I want by the end of the stream, I want you guys to double the subscriber count on his channel. Before I said hello to him, let me just bring up his channel. I need to I've got a whole bunch of screens up. Just give me 1 second, lads. I'll bring up his channel and then we'll look at it, and I want to get you guys to interact. Alright, here is his channel. Okay, so it's a small channel, but with you guys helping out, we'll try to get it bigger. Where is it? Here we go. Guys, this is the channel from the Shed End podcast. Currently, 41 subscribers. Now, I know you guys can make it at least 80, if not 100, by the end of the night. All right? I want you guys to smash them subscribe buttons. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And I'll tell you what. Don't subscribe just yet. Open up his page. Let's see what he has to say tonight. And if you like what he's going to be saying, subscribe to him. T-Dot, welcome to the stream. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for the sharing of the page. Hopefully I'm informative. And
You are,
yeah,
you are. I've actually watched you a couple of times. Believe it or not,
yeah,
I've
yeah.
watched you a couple of times, and I think your platform has some good content. I think you have some sound opinions about a lot of things, and unfortunately, the YouTube algorithm it's hard to crack when your channel is so small. So to get views is very difficult. But hopefully tonight, and it's gonna be a slow night. I'll be straight with you. It's gonna be a slow night tonight. But hopefully we'll get you to that 100 subscriber milestone by the end of the night. So lads in the chat, from the Shed End podcast, new channel, small channel, good channel. So the link is there. Click on it, subscribe, and then check out his videos at your leisure, and make sure you help out the little guy. I mean, I'm a little guy as well, but it's levels. So, T Dot, big up to you. Chris, big up to you. How you both doing?
Yeah, I'm not bad, mate. Pleasure to be back on the Blue Lounge, the best Chelsea fan channel on YouTube. However, we've got the second best Chelsea fan channel on YouTube and from the Shed End podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of this stream, I'm going to subscribe to him. So, if it's good for me, it's good for you. So, get that subscribe button hit. So, get it done. So, yeah, welcome to the Blue Lounge as well, mate. It's a pleasure to have you on here. And yeah, I'm good. Well, I'm okay because last night's still annoying, but yeah, it's good to be back on here and talk all things Chelsea Football Club. And if you can't understand me from the Shed End podcast, Mo's there as a translator. So
I'll
there you go.
translate. Yeah, I'll
Yeah, yeah.
translate. Yeah, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Scottish dialect. It took me a while, but I got used to it. To be fair. Chris, he has slowed down his dialect a little bit. I mean, he does live in London, so it is what it is. T Dot, tell us a little bit about your channel and tell us a little bit about your content.
Yeah, so the channel that we've been doing it for just over a year. Obviously, it's all about Chelsea. It's all about match reviews, post-match, pre-match, play ratings, news, ownership, Champions League, the lot. So just trying to cover as much as we can.
Yeah. Good place to start will be your reaction to yesterday's game. But before I'll hear that from you, let me just say hello to Julius. Julius, hello. How are you?
Hey, everyone. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm very good. I've had some time to reflect. I've had some time to contemplate. And to be honest, I wanted to get a lot off my chest, so I thought I'll stream tonight. And I know a lot of people were not expecting this, but it is what it is. Who just jumped in? Oh, George jumped in, and Abdi. Do you remember United versus Middlesbrough, the handball goal? Do you remember Argentina versus England? The hand of God. Yeah, these things happen. Yeah, Julius. I have with me a new panelist, T Dot, and I want you to do me that favor of subscribing to his channel. So I'll put the link in the chat. It's a small channel, small Chelsea fan channel, and hopefully we'll try to help him reach 100 subscribers by the end of the night. And since I spoke to you guys already yesterday, I want to get T Dot's opinion on the game from yesterday. So T Dot, take it away, mate. Chelsea 3, Real Madrid 2 at the Bernabeu. Good performance. Disappointing evening. Let me hear your thoughts on the game.
I think it was probably one of the best performances in a Chelsea shirt for a lot of those players as a Chelsea fan. I can't remember the last time, maybe Napoli 2012, the Barcelona. Those are the kind of moments where you see the standout performances, the key players, the players that are standing up, playing for the shirt. The Rudiger's, the Mason Mounts, even Timo Werner, who has got a lot of stick over the last couple of months from some of the Chelsea fan base as well. Putting in a shift, making those runs. It's bittersweet because we've got to see a brilliant performance. We know that there's quality within the squad. We knew that anyway, but to see it there, off the back of the Brentford performance, the first leg, which is what cost us, if we're going to be honest. I think the first leg, those mistakes, you think about Lukaku's sort of ill-timed header, off-target header. You think about the Mendy opportunity of trying to just clear the ball out and not doing it. Those are the things that killed us. But in last night's performance, if I've got to be critical, I'm going to say Kante. I don't think he hasn't looked at the Kante that we know he can be, the performances that we know he can put in. Don't want to rule him out as the one that lost us the game or lost us the tie over the two legs, because it's not about that. But I just think, in terms of those critical mistakes, those lapse in concentration, that's what cost us yesterday. And I think, honestly, if anyone else can tell me performance where, you go to the Bernabeu, big stage, quarterfinal, Real Madrid, and play the way we did and still not qualify for the semi-finals of the Champions League, it's just unheard of. It's something that just doesn't happen. Tuchel, for me, got the lineup spot on. I was surprised to see Ruben Loftus-Cheek in that sort of hybrid. It's hard to see where he was playing. Was it right wing back? Was it almost in a central midfield position? I feel like it was the two at times. When we had the ball, it was almost central midfield. When we lost possession, it was almost switched back into that sort of right wing back. Three centre backs or Alonso, perfect. Another sort of brilliant performance from him. Stepped up to the stage. The handball, look, it's controversial. It's in the rules of the game, but the rule needs to be looked at, because I think, where's he supposed to put his hands? They're by his side. He hasn't raised his arm. What's he supposed to do in that situation? But I don't know. I think for me, overall, good performance. Just unfortunate we never got through to the semi-final, which, deservedly we should be. We should be a semi-finalist team now.
Were you expecting Chelsea to put in that kind of performance before the game kicked off? Was it something you were expecting?
I expected a better performance than the first leg, but to say did I think we were going to win 3-2 on the night and play the way we did, then 100% I didn't, if I'm going to be honest. I didn't think that was going to be the case. I expected a bit more from Real Madrid in the first half. I think they were rattled. I thought they were happy to sit back, but didn't think we were going to bring that much pressure to them, which we did. So I think we shocked them a little bit as well. So no, I didn't think we were going to play as well as we did. I thought we put in a better performance, especially after Southampton, albeit a different kettle of fish, different team altogether. But I expected a bit more from Real Madrid as well. We got to see that as the time, as the game progressed. We got to see the tiredness of a Kante, Kovacic, even Ruben Loftus-Cheek looked a bit fatigued at the end of the 90 minutes and going on into the game. So I didn't think we was going to do as well as we did, but it was a performance that the team and the fans can be proud of, and Tuchel as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's it was like a boxing match, and in a boxing match, the aggressor, the boxer who takes a fight to his opponent, will have a great first few rounds and he'll dominate, but then he'll get burnt out, and then all of a sudden the fight opens up, and sometimes the weaker boxer ends up landing those shots that turns the tide, and that's what happened yesterday. Yesterday, Chelsea had Real Madrid on the ropes for the majority of that game, but then the last 15 minutes when we thought we've done it, game over. A couple of mistakes, a couple of tiredness started to show, and Real Madrid capitalized on it. And I think their substitutions were very good. Their timing was very good. I think we made our substitutions way too late. I think we should have become more defensive as soon as we secured the 3 goals, made some alterations. Unfortunately, we didn't. But I want to hear from Chris and Julius. We spoke about this yesterday. Yesterday, a lot of the discussion that we had was emotional, based on 120 minutes of football, edge of the seats. Now you've had a chance to reflect on it. What's your take? Let's go Chris first, and then we'll go Julius second.
Okay, well, yeah, after kind of digesting it and then,
Mm.
you know, kind of thinking about the game last night, yeah, I mean, I don't know if anyone can criticise the performance. The performance was absolutely superb from the from the first minute to the last minute. We gave it our all, and in my opinion, I said it last night as well, that we'd done way more than enough to go through. In my opinion, we showed, as I said, we showed our quality. We showed why we're Chelsea Football Club. Thomas Tuchel got his tactics absolutely spot on. My only issue was I would have kept Werner on, and I never thought I would ever say that in my lifetime. But here we are. Things change. For me, I think Timo Werner should have stayed on the pitch. Christian Pulisic, for me, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I mean, he had no impact whatsoever coming off the bench yesterday. He came on, and it was just like, wow, seriously, I would have rather no player came on. In my opinion, Christian Pulisic is just not doing it for me. He wasn't making the impact. Um, but in terms of that handball or the alleged handball of Marcus Alonso, in 2024, when the new format comes in for the Champions League, I can guarantee you the rules are going to change. This is my issue with these competitions, and I love the Champions League. It's my favourite competition. But it seems to be that, if you're going to have rules, at least keep the rules. Why do you change it all the time? If you're going to have rules, stick to the rules. Don't change it every 4 years. Don't change the format every 4 years. Leave the competitions the way it is, because it's getting frustrating. Because we should have went through last night, but we never, and Real Madrid are. So yeah, overall performance was very good. Mason Mount showed up very. He was taking that momentum from that Southampton one to the game last night, and yeah, I can't fault any of the performance. I'm proud. So all the focus goes into Sunday against Palace, and if we show up a quarter or a half of what we did last night and the way we did against Southampton, I don't see us having any issues against Palace. So, and Conor Gallagher's not playing for the Miler, so on to Sunday. But it's still gutting from last
Yeah.
night.
Yeah. Yeah. Before I go to Julius, lads, we've been streaming for 20 minutes, 31 likes. Can we get to 50 likes, like, within the next 5 or 10 minutes? I mean, come on, man. It's 3 hour stream yesterday, another couple of hours today, and you're not giving me the likes. What's up? Come on. We hit 10k. This is a 10k plus channel now, so we need to get them likes happening quickly. So big up to everyone. ITM, Varana, who else has jumped in? Ilias, George, Jeff, Gav, Abdi. I know Abdi's trolling, but it is what it is. Julius, brother, I want to ask you this question. Tony Rudiger, what a performance! The man has been playing out of his skin. Do you anticipate him to be here next season? How do you think it's going to play out, his situation?
Yeah, I think Rudiger had a monstrous performance. There is one of the tackles he had. I forgot on who, but it was almost. I think Vinicius Junior actually. He went through. Benzema put him through in front of the goal. Out of nowhere, Rudiger pulls a crazy tackle and saved us. And I was like, "Yes, you legend!" I celebrated that tackle actually because I love defense as well. Um, we should do all we can to keep him, and I think he loves the club.
Mm.
And honestly, when I look at his, before we went into all this drama that we've been through with the sanctions and everything, I think he was asking for something in the 200k range, low 200k even, and I think that's fair.
I think the last offer that was made to him, and I think he accepted it. It was 225,
Yeah,
and it was just the signing on fee that was being discussed, and then the sanctions kicked in. So in regards to the contract and the fee, sorry, in regards to the contract and the salary that was agreed, it was just the fee that was being discussed. And unfortunately, sanctions kicked in, and we are where we
yeah,
are.
yeah. Because again, Mo, this is something that because of the sanctions we've been distracted. Um, this is again something we've complained about, how slow we are when it comes to a lot of anything related to player transfers, ins and out, contract renewals. We're out. Why are we in a situation that we have three out of our most important defenders out of contract when we've sold a couple of defenders last summer with no replacements? It's just unbelievable.
Well, the only silver lining is Aspilicueta's extended it because of that clause in his contract. So
Mm.
that's the only kind of silver lining.
Mm.
Is it a silver lining though? I mean,
Yeah.
see this is my issue, and any one of you guys can jump in on this. But yesterday, our bench was weak. Our bench was weak. Now, if we look at the injuries, Ben Chilwell is out. Lukaku is out. Callum is out. Who else is out? Barkley is out. And our bench is weak. Now, out of those players, you should have at least a good replacement to them. I mean, Lukaku is our striker. We don't have a replacement for Lukaku because Kai Havertz is not a striker. And I keep emphasizing this point. For us to have a squad with only one striker is a problem. Why did we end up in this situation where we only have one striker in the squad? Why is it that we have our main left wing back injured and we don't really have an adequate replacement to him? Because Alonso, he put in a good shift, but when we're talking about the season, Alonso is not a good replacement, or it's not a the drop off between Chilwell and Alonso is massive. So why don't we have a replacement for him? Why don't we have a replacement for Reece James? Because Aspilicueta is not a replacement for Reece James, and again, the drop is massive. And this is, for me, is a problem. Our squad depth yesterday, it was apparent for all to see. Real Madrid could have dropped another 11 players on that pitch who could have given us, just as hard a time as the first 11. And by the way, Real Madrid also had injuries coming into this game, and they had suspensions coming into this game. We need to strengthen our squad, not just our first 11, our first team. And with what's happening with Christensen leaving, potentially Rudiger also leaving, we are going to be in trouble. Because I can't see us going into this window without bolstering our team. But then, how much money are we going to be able to bring in from the new investor? What is the new investor going to do? Is he going to be a Roman Abramovich type of scenario where we have, a £250 million to spend in one window? Is it going to be like that? I don't know. Are we gonna even spend north of 100 million? I don't know. And these are the questions we need to ask, because Chelsea are out of the Champions League in the quarterfinals. We are still way off the leading pack of Man City, Liverpool when it comes to challenging for the Premier League. And it isn't because we don't have quality players. I think it's because we don't have a quality squad. So that's what I want to address. And Bobby just jumped in, so I'll say hello to Bobby and I'll get him to kick us off on this topic. Bobby, welcome. I hope you're doing good, Baba.
Hey Mo, hi guys. Yeah, I'm still
Hi, Bobby.
hurting. So, when I hurt, sometimes I speak directly. You raised a very valid point. And the answer is very simple. The new owners are pledged, or rather, uh, 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 agreed to underwrite a minimum expenditure of £1 billion into Chelsea. This is not including the purchase price. It will make, if the purchase price is about 2.5 billion, it'll make the whole sale of the club about 3.5 billion, which has always been the expressed mark. And according to news um, agencies, it will become the most expensive sports franchise in history. I just think, like everything Chelsea do, it will set a tone, and it will not be the first. It will not be the last of such high-profile club purchases, especially in London, maybe in Manchester, and so on. Having said that, the situation is clear. Tony Rudiger must be signed down. He wants to stay at the club. I think it's going to be a prerequisite of any owner to be as stupid of an owner not to sign Rudiger to a long-term contract as it would be of an owner not to invest in increasing the capacity of the stadium. Hopefully it's at Stamford Bridge. If it's not at Stamford Bridge, I'm not one of these overtly sentimental people that will inhibit progress just out of sentiment. Yes, Stamford Bridge is the preferred option, but if we suddenly find a purchase not too far away in acres of space, we will need to go for it. As far as the squad is concerned, well, I believe I've been one of those people singing that tune since the beginning of the season. There has been a lack of planning for the squad. A lot of it is definitely those in the board and uh, the scouting team. But to this regard, I also blame some Chelsea journalists and indeed content makers. They spend a lot of time talking trash. They don't spend enough time talking strategically for the club. Clickbaiting. Oh, so and so, where's he going to get game time? Let's sell this person. Let's sell that person. No other fan base does that nonsense. Look at, yeah, you're right. You saw Real Madrid, what they could bring on, even with their injuries. Man City, the same thing, even Liverpool. But we spend time talking about promoting the sale of Reece James because we're trying to bring in Jules Koundé. Who does that? Only Chelsea fans, only some content makers. They don't use their platform productively and progressively to keep pushing a narrative that will reach the club's ears. They keep pushing the narrative of sale, sale, sale that reaches the ears of those that do want to sell and make profit. We need to stop that. We're not a top club that is there to just turf out our players. We did our planning at the beginning of the window was horrendous. At one time I even remember people saying, "Oh, let's get rid of Callum Hudson-Odoi. He needs game time. Let him go to Dortmund." What? I spoke out vehemently against that. Thank God Tuchel did the same thing. And the rest is history. How much game time he's had now, we've all forgotten. We have sent away players on loan that should never have gone on loan. And I want them back. Armando Broja, Conor Gallagher. That's the narrative we should be pushing on our platforms. Bring the top quality young players out on loan back to Chelsea. And please don't someone say Billy Gilmore. He's not ready. He's not ready yet. That's the truth. Let's stop being sentimental. Build the squad. We should have a replacement for every single first 11 players on that pitch. And all this stuff that got us in the end to bring in someone like Lukaku. Lukaku, gosh, what a debacle. The most expensive flop in terms of wages, in terms of purchase that I think we have ever seen at the club. I'm sick of even hearing about him. You know, at a time when the club needed him more than ever. He's injured. Okay, fine, he's injured. But what about the first leg? missing chances left, right, and centre key times. Fed up with it. Look at Benzema. He needs a half chance and he scores. That is the quality we need at Chelsea, not Lukaku. So going forward, the remedy is quality in depth, not nonsense in depth. Not, oh, let's sell Hakim Ziyech because he sat on the bench for a couple of games. That happens at the beginning of a season. Sometimes a player sits on the bench and doesn't really get going till October, November, maybe even December. And that rest period is needed, especially after the sort of summer a lot of our players have with internationals. But as fan base, I don't know what planet they're on. They think you can play the
Bobby,
11 players from the
Bobby,
beginning of a tremendously horrendous season like we have had
what
to
is
the end.
what is wrong? What is wrong with rotation? Why is it that before, you know, it was the norm to rotate your squad? You know, and you know, you could have a couple of good games and still be dropped purely because it's a rotation system, and you know, we want to give everyone a couple of games and then, you know, keep everyone involved rather than, you know, I mean, the Liverpool model is different because they're focusing on a set 11 and then they bring in people to bolster the set 11. However, Chelsea in the past has had a rotation system. We've always had big squads. We've always had a lot of good players. We've had depth in our squads. Why is it
Short-sighted fan base.
today? Exactly. Today, if Mason Mount is dropped for a couple of games, the fan base will go crazy.
Yeah.
If Hakim Ziyech is dropped, another portion of the fan base will go crazy. If Havertz is dropped, and this is a mistake, we have to allow our manager to rotate. We have to allow our manager to build and develop the squad. And I agree with you, Bobby. We as content creators, as influencers, have a big role to play in this. And unfortunately, not all of us have the vision or the understanding that what we say and what we preach is influencing the opinion of the fans, and it could also influence certain things in the club.
The club, don't be afraid to say it. It does,
Yeah.
Mo. They all watch these things. Remember, I've always told you at the right from the beginning, Mo, you're doing well. Mo, don't be surprised who's watching you. All these guys that end up on Sky Sports News, it's not by coincidence. It's not even by their hustling too much. It's through recommendation. People have watched them and said, oh, look, let's get this guy on. Let's get this guy on. It goes right to the seat of the club. It's not the be all and end all, but you will be surprised. They get the pulse of the fans' feeling from watching content makers, not only, but largely. And we all have a responsibility. All the noise we make doesn't totally fall on deaf ears. And, the more we say it, the more it goes to the right quarters. Not, Havertz is going to Germany now because he sat on a bench for a couple of weeks. And we keep peddling that nonsense. Oh, Werner, get rid of Werner. What is wrong with our fans? It's insane. It is insane. No other top-level club does this. I don't know. Anyway.
Yep. Let me bring in some of the other guys. Julius, squad depth. Chelsea and squad depth. Where are we?
We don't have the depth. We have a very bad, weak bench, and that is because we have not built on the success, and that's the story we've had in Chelsea for the past decade. And Bobby is spot on, to be honest. He spoke everything on my mind exactly. When you look at City, for example, Mahrez, Sterling, Grealish, Foden, Look how rich that is. Forget about how they generate their money, whatever. Not my problem. But they understand to compete, we have to have a good bench, almost as good as the starting 11. If you look at every single team that have actually built success consistently throughout Premier League or other leagues, they always have very good bench. That minute 60, the manager can know, okay, it's not working 100%. I know when I bring on XYZ, I'm gonna have a same, if not better, impact. We don't have that. And when you look at the Madrid game, we are a better squad. And it's clear. We had 28 shots. And a lot of the shots were off target, sure. I think we had 10 on target or something. But even the shots that were off target, they were clear cut chances. First game, we had 20 shots. They had 8 shots. So
Yeah,
if we have the
Julius, sorry to interrupt you. I think the difference between Chelsea and Real Madrid over the two legs was clearly one player, Karim Benzema. They had a player who could finish. They had a striker. Chelsea don't have a striker. And had we of invested in the right way in regards to our striker, it would have been a different scenario today. Today we would have been celebrating. We would have been talking about the semi final and who we're gonna face and and moving on. So the striker situation is crucial, and Chelsea have always recently. I'm not gonna say always. We've recently had a problem when it comes to strikers, and I don't know what it is and why we are in this situation where we can't seem to find a good finisher. Scouting, developing. I mean, Tammy Abraham. I'm going to go back to what Bobby said. In regards to Tammy Abraham, is a player that we developed in our academy, and he did okay. He wasn't, ripping up trees again, like Bobby would say, but he was doing okay. And I'm guilty of this myself. I didn't think Tammy Abraham was of the quality that Chelsea needed moving forward. And I was advocating for him to go and for us to use that money to bring in Haaland or a striker of that caliber. We ended up selling Tammy Abraham and bringing in Romelu Lukaku. In my opinion, Tammy Abraham, had he have stayed, he would have done a much better job for us than Romelu Lukaku. And again, hindsight is crazy, but sometimes I don't know. And again, does the club listen to the fan base? But we are not educated enough or informed enough when it comes to these kind of decisions because we don't have all the facts. I would go on Google, I would search stats, I would search information to base my opinion on. However, the manager, the club, the scouts, they have not only the data, but they also know what these players are feeling, what they're eating, what their life at home, what's happening in their homes and whatnot, and how their mental state is. So they should be able to make a better informed decision than us. And unfortunately, that isn't the case, and that is worrying for me. And again, I apologize for interrupting you, Julius.
Oh, no worries. So, I agree. That's actually what I was going to say. The game was defined in small details. Is that we don't have a Benzema, and if you think about it, if we had the equivalency of Benzema, or maybe a little bit even less, we would have dismantled Madrid. That game would have been not lost. We would have won at home. We would have destroyed them away with that performance because clearly we are the better team. Modric was saying yesterday, and someone like Modric to say that with all the successes and the teams they faced throughout their Champions League campaigns the past few years, Chelsea was the toughest opponents he's ever faced in his career. And you know what? We have a character as a club in this competition. This is not the first time players from teams like Madrid before Barcelona said things like that. We are such a hard team to face. Unlike City today, for example, I was watching the game. They were so lucky. They are so lucky to go through. They got destroyed by Atletico Madrid. I guarantee you anything, if we got Atletico, we would have beat them. So we never, first of all, we never plan ahead. We never build on the success. And we gamble so much, not only on players, but also on managers. And we are so fortunate to have someone like Tuchel, to be honest with you. And I don't think this is sustainable. We win a major competition and fans forget about all the struggles and all the underlying issues that we have and at the club. And that is what annoys me so much. And I get very frustrated every summer when I see this, because I knew from last transfer window, this year is going to be tough. We're not going to win the league, maybe a Champions League, maybe, but we're not going to be consistent. And look what happens. Havertz.
Julius, sorry to interrupt you. Give me a form of action. What should Chelsea do to resolve this issue over the next couple of windows?
Yeah.
What should we do?
I want to first highlight the problem that we are facing, and then I'll give you the solution.
All right, cool.
We have Havertz, Pulisic, Mount, Werner, and Ziyech. Those five are mainly the attackers we rely on. We go through patches. One period of the season, Mount on fire, he's scoring goals. Then he cools off. Havertz comes in, scores couple goals, cools off. Werner, same thing. Pulisic, same thing. We have been missing someone we can rely on that is consistent throughout the season. That is a world-class striker, right? And all all the toys that we have, like Mount and the others, should be complementing this player. And every goal they score is a bonus, and that's how you take yourself to the next level. Now, what is the solution? It's very obvious. So, a club like Chelsea, who has the infrastructure, the scouting system across the whole world, a world-class manager leading this team who is telling them there are specific attributes that I'm looking for, that if you can find me a player that has some of them, not all of them, we should be fine. Look at what Mourinho said, for example, about Drogba. Drogba was someone we don't know who he was. He wasn't any big name. But because Mourinho knew exactly what he wanted and he got what he wanted, the rest is history. For example, transfer window in January, right? We didn't have enough options, let's be honest, and I didn't want us to sign players for the sake of it. What the club should do is start negotiating, not only negotiating potential comes in. Figure out your budget, the finances. You have a lot of players that are sitting on the bench or not performing for many years, who are getting paid so much money. You look at Lukaku and Werner. For the money we're paying them, they're not worth it. I'm sorry. I've always defended Werner and I love his attitude, but come on, like, we can't rely on him. He's inconsistent. I can't. He's on 270 or something thousand a week. That's too much money for a player that barely scores 10 goals in the season. Not good enough. The likes of Drinkwater, the likes of Barkley, lot of wasted resources and money on players who are overperforming. And this is why we get into a situation in this transfer window. We're tied. We can't buy Haaland. We can't afford them because we have a lot of expensive players that are not doing it. So why do we get to this situation? Because we don't plan. I've told you that in the summer. We don't have strategic planning. We don't have a good marketing plan as well, because we always sell under the like, for example, the academy players we sold them cheap, man. It's unacceptable. So strategic planning beforehand.
Livramento is a big example of that.
Exactly. Guehi as well. And
Tomori.
Tomori again, yeah, exactly. Look how good he is, Tomori. He's unbelievable. So Strategic planning start 6, 7, 8 months before, 1 year before. Okay, say I have a plan. I'm targeting specific players. I need to get those players done. They're gonna be hard to get, but once we figure out our finances, we start negotiating with these players a year before to convince them. We show them that we're interested. We don't do that, and I don't understand people in our board when I look at their backgrounds, their education, the places they've worked with, ex CEOs, VPs, high degrees in business administration. These are not idiots. These are smart people, very successful in their careers, very educated. But it baffles me, how can they not think about it this way? And the only answer I have for that, and I'm sorry, this is probably stereotypical, I don't care, these guys don't understand the game because they come from different parts of the
Yeah, they're
world.
not football people. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not football people. They do not understand the industry itself. This industry is different than any other industry.
All right, Julius, you're dropping a bomb here, and I'm going to drop another one. This is on the back of 20 years of running Chelsea Football Club, where they've had time to learn and understand and develop. And I'm talking about the people who are making these decisions. We're going to get new owners in who their understanding of football or their understanding of sport is more related to baseball and American football or basketball than it comes than as they would have it soccer. We're in trouble because if these guys can't do it, these new guys are not going to be able to do it. Or am I missing something?
That's a worry for sure. However, you don't need as an owner to understand the industry 100% because usually owners at that level, they don't have time for the ins and outs of and the small details. What I care
But
about,
they're the ones who are hiring, Julius. They're the ones who are hiring. I mean, one of the issues we had, and this is something that we talked about a lot, me and Bobby especially, when it comes to Marina Graviskaya and her handling of a lot of the transfers, and the fan base focuses on how well she did with Morata, Hazard, and Costa and whatnot, but they forget about the Bakayokos and the Zapakostas, and for me, it took Marina Graviskaya a lot of time before she allegedly knows what she's doing, because Lukaku is on her as well, and so is what's his name, Saul Niguez.
and
So
yeah,
and Kepa. I mean, we should have had Allison. Had she have been a little bit more flexible when it came to Allison, we could have bought him and not ended up
because
having all of this. And
Can I
this is the
answer?
problem.
because
Yeah, go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
I just think, I remain grateful to Roman and what he did for Chelsea. It's our gratitude just has no limits. But life has a funny way of landing things the right way up. There's a saying in there somewhere, but I can't remember it right now. Maybe it was time for the ownership to change. I feel the difference with a sort of consortium than to single ownerships is that consortiums have to rely on a team system, and they have to put the right people in the right places in order to run the club correctly. Now, Man United, some people say it's not working there, but I don't really blame that on the Glazers. I just think Man United is such a big club with so many unnecessary traditions that it's been haunted by its past glories, particularly Alex Ferguson. That's my personal belief. He's hanging around that place like a lead weight, and it really is dragging themselves down. Him, Bobby Charlton, and so on. That's just my opinion. I think they need to cut their ties with the past and move on, but they're still hanging on. You see, this is this thing about sentiment I was saying earlier. Chelsea fans that hang on for dear life to Stamford Bridge at all costs. Nobody can love Stamford Bridge more than I do, but trust me, if I see somewhere not too far away and with greater potential, it's done. It's done. Thanks for the memories. We move on. That's how life progresses. Now, with these people, we can't say for certain, one, who they're going to be. They may not be the Americans. They may be this Broughton guy. They might be Pagluka. I don't know. But two, even if it is the Americans, these are consortiums. It's not just down to one person like it was to Roman. As much as Roman was progressive for us, as much as he invested for us, and as much as we love him dearly, and as much as he loved the club, that that monopoly was what I think led to some of these poor decisions. The hiring and firing of managers, quite quickly, is one of those. It wouldn't happen with a consortium. It's not that easy to just fire someone unless they're an absolute disaster. Some of the purchases, were probably done more out of what the owner wanted than what was actually needed. So I'm not here to run down Roman. I'm not going to do that. But what I'm just saying is that looking forward, I don't think we can say that it's going to be bad for us, because the Liverpool model, they're run by Americans. They seem to have picked the right one in Klopp and seem to be getting the right players in. Aston Villa is run by Americans, the same thing. Man United, for all it's worth, these guys are reinvesting. They've now got Ten Hag in. They keep trying and failing, but at least they're trying. So having Americans
Bobby,
is not.
I just want to say something. In regards to Americans, and I've said this before as well. My issue is not the American system or the American owners. My issue is the understanding of
The game, our game, yeah.
the culture as well as the game. And I just want to address a couple of comments in the chat. In regards to Marina Gavaskaya has done a good job. Generally, her work has been good, and it's been getting progressively better as she has become more involved and more aware of what she is doing. Marina Gavaskaya came in on the back of her relationship with Roman in running one of his companies. And he brought her in, and he gave her the responsibility and accountability that he has. It took her a while to understand the footballing side of things, and I think she has come a long way. And if it was up to me, I would like to see her stay on with the new owners, because I think what Marina Gavaskaya knows now about Chelsea Football Club is valuable, and is something that she can pass on to the new administration of the club. I think the key is, for me, I don't want to see a lull for a couple of seasons before we start to get back to where we were or where we are today. Because I was watching Eunice and his video earlier today. And he was talking about the levels of Man City and Liverpool and Chelsea. And he says Chelsea are there, but they're not consistent enough to be with them all the time. And if we have a lull of a couple of seasons, we're going to be dropping to where Arsenal are today, where Manchester United are today. Because, let's be honest, Arsenal were a powerhouse in the Premier League. Manchester United should still be a powerhouse in the Premier League, but they're not. Because they've had this lull, they've had this dip where they've changed managers in a way where they shouldn't have, where they made a few bad signings and it's hit them hard. This thing we're going through right now, the change of ownership. People, you have to understand this is something that is very, very critical and dangerous for Chelsea Football Club. It isn't the same as the problems we were having with Ken Bates, and then him sending it off to Roman, and then moving in that direction. That was a solution to a problem. Roman came in and he took the club forward. Today, the problem that we have is that we have to sell the club. Do you understand? It isn't that we are wanting to sell or we are looking to sell. No, we have to sell. Therefore, this transaction is happening in a manner which does not leave a lot of room for development, a lot of room for negotiation. Simple fact. We can't even negotiate with Tony Rudiger. And his contract is about to expire in a couple of months. And he's able to go. Less than a couple of months. And he's able to go. And we can't discuss with him terms. And we're hearing that the sale of Chelsea Football Club is being pushed another month. When is the sale going to happen? At the end of the season? Where Rudiger becomes literally a free agent and he doesn't have any more ties with Chelsea Football Club? So this is what I'm talking about. This is a critical situation we're in right now. And we have to deal with it in a manner where we don't have this lull, where we don't have this 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of situation, because that's what we could be looking at right now. And that is my problem. And again, I apologize for interrupting.
Yeah, I mean, I've come to understand that following tomorrow, the sale of the acknowledgement of the preferred bidder shouldn't be too long. A lot of the due diligence is already taking place. It's part of this process and will be part of the selection process. So that cuts a lot of the time that would be wasted. For example, the due diligence that is being carried out by the Premier League is not when we select the preferred bidder, is actually going on the bidders as it stands, and will be part of the selection of the preferred bidder. So it's already part of the screen. So I understand, and this is all only stuff I've gotten from Sky Sports, that this whole thing should be done within the next 4 weeks, thereabouts. So it's really sailing close to the wind, but it is what it is. It was always going to be like that. I would rather, I know, it's a risky thing, but it was always risky. Even when Bates sold Chelsea to Roman, it was a risk. There was no guarantees when he first came here that he was going to do what he's done. He spent millions at the time to get the club on an even keel. But then the rumors were, is this just a plaything to him? Will he get bored? Well, as it turned out, we were very fortunate that he never got bored. It wasn't a plaything, that he is a genuine fan. And I think, one thing about supporting Chelsea, it stays with you till the day you die. I think he will always be a fan. And that's how those cards fell for us. Now, in this situation, yes, it's risky, but I think everything that can be done to reduce the risk is being done. And that's just it. I don't think we should be too worried. I never go into a situation worried, because I think it's, you attract defeat if you do it that way. If you remember, before we faced Real Madrid in the Bernabeu, we had some people coming onto this platform, and they were saying, "Oh, Madrid is this, that." I never talk like that, because I know what we knew, and you agreed with me, Mo, what we had ahead, and the only way to address something is with bravery. Get in there and battle. And boy, did we battle yesterday. As much as it hurt me, There is no game I have ever seen anybody that defended the Champions League the way we did yesterday. We should be so proud of that team. Chelsea Football Club, as I posted on Twitter, remains to this day one of the most formidable clubs on this planet. It's just that we're fans, we don't see it, but other people see it and they are afraid of us. What we need to take into this new ownership is the same manager, as much of the same players as is reasonably possible, and we will rise again for sure.
Yep. Yep. I want to bring in T Dot and Chris. What's your thoughts on this, lads?
I think. Well, hold on. I
Chris.
just want to say because I've not spoken a while. I mean, in terms of what's that saying? What's that saying? Quality over quantity, and unfortunately, that kind of saying doesn't apply to Chelsea, and it's sad to see because for me, I've said it time and time again. I've said it on the Blue Lounge a couple streams ago. In terms of the squad depth is the big issue. I mean, the first 11, yeah, it's world class. It's a good first 11. It's good enough to compete for the league, but it's the likelihood is when we have a player coming off the bench, it's not the required quality. And I mean, so what? City and Liverpool, those are the two teams that are the benchmark. So those are the two teams to overcome to win the league, and that's Chelsea's aspirations. That's always Chelsea's ambition to win the league and win the other competitions. So for when City take a player off, they're taking a player off that's quality. So they're taking a player off that's quality, and they're bringing on a player that's quality. So we're taking a player off, and it's like, who are we bringing on? I mean, the options last night, as you said, was poor on the bench, Mo. Liverpool, it's not a coincidence. As soon as they start improving their squad depth quality, not squad depth quantity, squad depth quality, it's not a coincidence. As soon as they start doing that, they start competing for the league and they start pushing into the semi-finals of the Champions League, etc. So, yeah, it is a big issue. At the moment, the first 11's fine. But at the end of the season, when Rudiger's contract, if he doesn't extend...
But Chris, you're saying the first 11 is fine, and I agree with you, the first 11 is fine. The problem is the gap between the first 11 and their replacements is too big.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, that's what I'm saying. So when I'm not saying, right, when we take a player off, for example, Kante, world class, right? Kovacic, world class. Kai Havertz, on the potential to be that. When we're taking players like that off and bringing them on, it's like it's not the required quality. I mean, I'm just thinking. I'm not saying that when we bring a player off, I'm expecting the exact same player's qualities to be coming on the pitch. No, I'm not saying that because that's unrealistic, right? But what I'm saying is, we need to have a player that's the required quality for Chelsea Football Club, and we just don't. I mean, there's players. I mean, left back, clear example. Emerson, Kennedy, Marcus Alonso, and then you've got Ben Chilwell. I mean, there's no comparison there, is there, really? Centre backs. I mean, what? Thiago Silva and Rudiger, the two main centre backs at the club. After that, who's coming in? Christensen's leaving. He's not good enough anyway. So it's really frustrating. And how do we do that? Well, we just got to deal with the fact is when the new owners come in, back Tuchel will know that the squad depth's not poor, and that's the first thing we need to be focusing on is the squad depth. We need to be focusing on the quality, improving that bench, and we can't keep, pushing money into the first team. We need to start pushing money into the quality for the bench. And as Julie said as well, the players that we've let go. I mean, I seen a comment that said, how can you judge a player based on the Serie A? So you're trying to tell me Tomori and Tammy Abraham are just performing because it's a bad league? Of course not. It's the Serie A for me. It might not be the same league it was, but it's still a fantastic league. So Tomori would do a job. Tammy Abraham would still do a job. Conor Gallagher, God forbid we don't sell him. Broja, if Southampton put an offer in for him, we should not accept it. But something in the back of my mind is telling me, because of previous track records, if Southampton offer 40 plus, will we accept it? I hope not, but I can see it happening because we're not focusing on the squad depth. So, yeah, mate, it's the squad depth's worrying. It is worrying. So, it's annoying as well. We should not be talking about that, but we are. So,
yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue. T Dot, let me get your take on this.
Yeah, I agree 100% with pretty much everything that's been said. You know, I think you look back at the days when we had a Cesc Fabregas, a Didier Drogba, a Diego Costa. You know, that quality was there. We could probably say we haven't really replaced them. You know, you look at the players that we've got it now. We let Tammy Abraham go. I think in his full first season under Lampard, I think he scored 15 goals in the Premier League. I think maybe 18 all season in all competitions. But letting someone of that quality go, even Olivier Giroud on a free.
Yeah.
Someone who can do a job in Europe, can come on and then impact the game. We didn't have that yesterday, and this is what we have to sort of differentiate between just having the depth in the squad and having those players that are just sitting there, the Drinkwaters, the Bakayokos, the Ampadu, who's playing somewhere in Italy as well. Those sort of players, having them, we've got to have the quality to back that up. And if we haven't got that, it's great having all these players, and we sort of use some of these players to bring in a bit of money, but it's not benefiting the club on the pitch. It might benefit the bank. It might put a bit of change in the bank, but in terms of the actual quality that we've got, we're just lacking in it. You look at Michael Essien and Makalele, all these players that we've had previously, Iron Robin. Some of these players are just players that we just didn't really replace. Frank Lampard, we haven't replaced them. And what we've done is we've gone out there, we've brought mediocre players. I think Baba Rahman's still on the books. These sort of players should not be any. And this is me trying to not be negative, but this is one of the issues why we can't go and get a Haaland. I think someone just said this before. We can't go and get Haaland because we've got all these players. I think Drinkwater's on a substantial amount of money.
He is.
Burnley, I think, wanted to loan him. If it wasn't this season, probably last season. They couldn't afford his wages. These sort of play. Bakayoko is another one. How long has he been on the books? We've just got rid of Lewis Baker, who I had a lot of potential for. I looked at him. I think for Tez a couple of seasons ago. He's doing really well, but he's been on the book. He's nearly 30. Some of these players are just not going to peak. And
is Batshuayi still at the club?
Yeah, he is. He's on loan.
See what I mean?
He is. Yeah.
These players
Yeah,
have
but
to move on.
You see. Sorry, Tito. My problem is this: we seem to be sending players out on loan for the sake of just sending them out on loan. Batshuayi could have done a job as a backup to Lukaku.
I agree.
Broha, we only have one striker, so why not keep Broha? Why send him out on loan? Gallagher, I can understand Gallagher, but I would have rather have kept Gallagher and send out Barkley. So it's a little bit of a mismatch when it comes to the players that we actually have on the books and the issue we have with our squad depth, because we're talking about squad depth, but really we have sent out players that we shouldn't have sent out. Emerson Palmieri. I know in hindsight, having 3 left backs is too many. So keep Alonso and Ben Chilwell. But Emerson Palmieri just came back from the Euros and he had a really good Euros. So send out Alonso. Keep Emerson. It's just that the decision making is a little bit off, in my opinion. Bobby was talking about Gilmore isn't ready. I agree. Gilmore is not the finished article yet, and sending him out alone might have been a good thing. And to be fair, he actually wanted to go out alone. It wasn't just us sending him out alone. He wanted to go out alone. But I think looking at the loan of Saul Niguez with a 5 million signing on fee plus 200,000 a week, I would have rather have kept Gilmore and spoken to the lad, saying to him, look, you will get some game time, don't go, stay. Some of the decision making just is off, and I don't know why we're in this situation. I don't know why we are in this situation. Because yesterday, looking at that bench, we didn't really have that many options. We brought on Saul Niguez, a player that hasn't performed well all season. We brought him on to face Real Madrid in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. We didn't have any other options. I don't know.
I want to
I don't know.
make a
Squad depth is a problem. Yeah, go on.
I want to make a comment.
Yep.
I just pulled out the Chelsea players' wages per week in 2022, and the top five are Lukaku 325,000 a week, Kante 290, Werner 272, Chilwell 190, Kepa 155. Chilwell and Golo Kante pull them on the side and look at these three and do the math per week. How much are we getting out of them? Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. And then we wonder why we can't afford the likes of Haaland because we're so inefficient. And by the way, when we and many other Chelsea fans, when we say we want Haaland, I'm not one of those guys who are always with, let's spend money like lunatics blindly because money solved the problem. No, I'm not saying that. I'm with spending money in a smart way. When I see, and that's as a fan, at the end of the day, we don't have the data, we don't have any of that, and nor the education to know which player is 100% gonna be guaranteed to fit in the system. That's a fact. We don't know that. However, my opinion, if you ask me, we are in an era in football, there is a lack of good strikers because how football is evolving, number nine is becoming less of an importance, a pure number nine. And I think it's Guardiola's fault in a funny way. So Haaland for me is the best striker in the world. His age, his performance, his numbers don't lie, and that's why in this case I want us to splash the cash, but we are not able to do that because we're not efficient, and we've made absolutely garbage decisions for a couple years going into this year, and now we're paying the price. That's not even looking into Barkley, Drinkwater, and many others who are they wouldn't even start in a charity game for Chelsea. So this is the problem, Mo, that we need to fix. And regarding the American owners, I just want to say one thing. I have no doubt they do not understand the culture of the game. I have no doubt, and that's a fact. They don't. However, they are not the one interviewing people unless they're interviewing a board member. Now, the people who are going to be interviewing scouts, coaches, and stuff are board members. And not many, maybe not all of them even. There's probably the operations guy who will be interviewing these guys. So, as long as we get in the right people who have football knowledge, such as Peter Cech, and Mendy is a great example. With the money we paid for Mendy, I know now people are there's a sort of group of fans starting to say Mendy is not world class, which is crazy. But for the money we paid for Mendy, whether he is world class or no, he has done fantastic job, unbelievable job.
An unbelievable buy. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. You look at Aspilicueta for 7 million, unbelievable. So uh, Drogba as well. You look back, we paid 26. Yes, it was a hefty fee back then, but it wasn't a club record,
Even
right?
Kante for 40 million. Was it 40 million we got Kante?
30,
Brilliant
30
business.
million, 36. So because when we bring in football people who know football, and when we listen to the managers and get what the managers are doing, wants us to do, and what the kind of players they want us to bring, and have a strategic plan, start reaching out to the targets early. Don't wait till the end. Start talking about renewals and early. Don't leave yourself until the end. And if you feel, let's say, because of it's a budget issue, budget restraints, get rid of high wage players who are not performing and they are on high wage. Be ruthless in that sense and get rid of them. We are ruthless getting rid of world class managers who are serial winners. We're not ruthless getting rid of overrated players who are milking the club and literally doing nothing. Someone like Lukaku, 325,000 a week, he doesn't even want to be at the club. How can you be that cold playing against Madrid in a
What should we
quarterfinal?
do? What should we do to Lukaku? Should we loan him? Because I don't think we can sell him.
I think
Cut the losses. Cut the losses, Mo. Cut the losses. It's not about loaning him. I think just sell him. 50,
Can I just
45,
can I
get
just say
rid of him.
something? So really quickly, sorry to
Yeah,
interrupt
go
you,
ahead.
but
Go ahead.
I think it's an issue with Chelsea, not the other way around. I think we are the ones who pay these players the wages in the first place. And the problem we find is that when we go to sell them, some of these players aren't going to take the pay cut, and they don't have to because we put them on a
Yeah,
5 year
and they leave
contract,
for free. Yeah,
and then
yeah.
they go on a free, and then we lose out anyway because they've left on a free. And now if we're paying Lukaku 300,000, and we paid 100 million, we're not going to recoup the 100 million. We might have to take the loss, but it's not the loss isn't the problem. It's who's going to pay 300,000 a week for him unless it's a PSG or a Man City, which won't happen, or he goes abroad somewhere that can afford those type of wages. It's the wages that's the problem, and we've set ourselves up to fail in that predicament because who's going to pay Lukaku based on what we've seen so far this season? 300 grand a week for him. I can't see it happening. I think the loan is probably the best option with
yeah.
the obligation or mandatory to buy at the end of that loan, and hope he get some of that form back, and
Would you
we
sell
can
it?
try and get something for him.
T Dot? Would you sell him to Spurs?
You
In
can go
exchange for
anywhere.
Kane. In exchange
You,
for Kane, yes.
yeah, you
Yeah.
can go anywhere. I don't give a
Lukaku said
shit.
he's willing to take. Lukaku said, and I'm not sure if he said that or it was an Inter source who said that. Some journalist who close to Inter. He is willing to take a cut wage to go back to Italy.
Good.
So the thing about who's gonna pay him the wages is not a problem. He just want to leave. He
Good.
Good.
doesn't
I
want to
hope he
leave.
does. I'm sick of the guy. I'm sick of, and I mean, I don't want to come across harsh, but when I talk about the likes of Lukaku, but I'm also talking about the likes of Timo Werner, I'm also talking about the likes of Hudson-Odoi, and I'm also talking about the likes of Pulisic, because for me, they're all in the same boat. Like Lukaku isn't in a boat, and then they're all similar in terms of effort. Lukaku, mate, the guy is just not doing it right. And look, he's not a bad player; he's a fantastic player. Because when you want goals, you look at Lukaku when he's playing in a team and when he's not spitting his dummy out the pram. That's how he performs. I mean, that interview, I still go back to the interview because he's got himself to blame. He was doing well. He scored against, was it Villa and then Brighton, right? And he had great support from Inter. Does the interview and he's shot himself in both feet because Inter don't want him. Inter fans don't like him, and Chelsea fans have got a thing against him, and I don't blame it. He's got himself to blame. Lukaku, honestly, I've never seen a player that acts like a diva in all my life like him. I've never seen him, and he needs to behave himself. He needs to behave himself. So if he wants to go back to Italy, bye, see you later, all the best. But I mean, you're not doing it for Chelsea, so see you later. Simple as that. Sick of the guy.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Chris. I really do. As far as our purchase strategy, I think one thing that's very, very clear to me is that we don't quite have the director of football we need. I don't think Petr Cech is almost like somebody that's learning. He needs somebody with him. And I'm pretty sure that will be an area that the new owners will have to look at. Trouble is, it might take some time for them to select the right person. But unless they listen to advice from Tuchel himself, who might know of someone in Germany, I don't know. But we do need a a a, a solid director of football, and a lot of these things wouldn't be happening, especially in terms of players that we select to buy. The other thing is the point was made about Marina. Um, often when I talk, people think I've really got something against her. No, I haven't. I don't. It's not her per se. I really don't care about her per se. I just care about what she's doing for Chelsea. And yes, she's acquired experience within Roman's model. But you see, in a model going forward, I question whether in this thing about holding on to the past, sometimes it's best to just get a clean break. There needs to be a transition period, of course. She needs to hand over quite a few things, but I think it needs a fresh mind. There's a lot of handicaps in the way she's done things. I've always said this. I don't think she is the right person. Lots of people do because they're so fascinated or starstruck that a woman is in this position, and I don't look at it like that. You could be a bullfrog with six heads. All I want is for you to do the right job for Chelsea, and I will criticize you if you don't. So I think she'll be good to hand over, but I think we need something fresh. We need football people. We need people that understand the industry, especially if we're being purchased by people who I'm sure by their own admission will note that the English football culture is not really something they are familiar with. To that regard, we're better off with, having the kind of people managing Chelsea being of either, a Middle Eastern background or other European background or even African background, people that football is their culture, that will easily understand or have grown up watching the English Premier League.
I'm gonna just say something, guys. We are 6 likes away from 100, and I have also put the link in the chat. If you want to jump on and give me your thoughts and opinions, click on that link, and love to hear your thoughts and opinions about the game, about the future of Chelsea, the squad depth, contract situation, anything you want to talk about in respect to Chelsea. Click on that link, and you're welcome to jump on. Are you guys optimistic in respect to the outcome of the season? I mean, we are potentially going to finish in the top four. I mean, I can't see us, unless something stupid happens, we are going to finish top four. Crystal Palace is a game we could potentially win and, play another final. So, what would you guys think? Do you guys think it's been a good season?
I don't even think good season. I think it's been one of the maddest seasons I think a club will ever experience. I can't think of a season where a club has had the injuries we've had. Now, I'm not one to blame about injuries, but have chase for the title and then lose the right wing back, lose the left wing back, and completely not collapse because we've got.
Also, Chris, lose our manager for the major part of the World Club Cup to COVID. Remember that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah, it's one of the maddest seasons. So for example, the title charts, right? We've never collapsed because we're still third. We've held third quite well actually, and we've not. It's just the draws that that put us back. The owner situation. I mean, the owner sanctioned Tuchel with his divorce and all this. I mean, it's mad. Like I've never heard of a club that has had a season like this. And to be honest, the fact that we should be in the semi-finals of the Champions League, but that's the way it is. So we go on to the thingy. We've won the Club World Cup, so we completed the trophy cabinet. We have won the Super Cup at the start of the season against Villarreal, which, in hindsight, a very good result because look at what Villarreal's done in the Champions League this season under Emery. Fair play. And then the League Cup, we all know what happened there with the refereeing decisions there. And then it's going to be another chapter on Sunday when we go in and play Palace with Anthony Taylor, and we all know what he is.
Chris, just 1 second. Javi, I can see you in the back area, but I can't add you. Your device isn't connected. So go out and come back in again, and I'll try to add you on. Your device isn't connected. It might be your mic. So just jump out and jump back in. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so it could be another chapter on Sunday when we play against Palace because I don't know why Anthony Taylor is getting these Chelsea games because we've seen time and time again. I know people have their issues with referees, but this guy seems to be at every game. there's an issue with his decisions against Chelsea. So that'll be another mad one on Sunday, no doubt. So overall, I'm happy. I'm happy with the fact is we've shown that we are Chelsea Football Club, and no matter what situation we're in, or the whatever multiple situations we're in, we're here to play football, and we're here to show why we are the pride of London, and we're here to show why we are one of the biggest clubs in the world. And yeah, so I'm optimistic that we're going to end the season well. Um, yeah, I don't know about next season. We'll see what happens there. That will obviously be a prediction for to come. But I'm over. Yeah, mate. With everything that's happened this season, the situation we're in now, I can be proud of the team and I can be proud of the club. So yeah, I'm happy. So let's get that FA Cup. Let's get a trophy, a domestic trophy in that cabinet. Come the end of the season.
Yeah, definitely. Rest of the guys.
I am not happy at all. Actually,
All right.
yeah, at all. Very disappointed. Very frustrating season. I think one of the worst seasons I've had as a Chelsea fan under the Abramovich era. Probably the second worst. I think the season under Sarri was.
Well, that was horrendous, mate. Wow,
I hated the Chelsea team under Sarri, man. I hated the football. This is a season where it's not like I'm hating the football. I'm just very frustrated because we failed once again to perform and to be competing the way I wanted the team to compete, being European champions, current European champions. And yes, I give credit to the team yesterday. Absolutely monstrous performance. But we get punished because of these small details and lack of depth and lack of having a good striker, lack of having good bench, not supporting the manager and giving him what they want. Very unfortunate. And we're not competing to the league. We haven't competed this year on the league. How many? If you look at it this way, we've competed kind of in the beginning of the season for 2-3 months. That's it. Not even 2-3 months. So, and then we collapse, and that was expected. Uh, I never believed that this team has it in it to compete on a throughout the season consistently. So I'm just very disappointed. I think this season is a failure in my eyes, and Marina Granovskaya and whoever is in charge.
Super Cup, World Club Cup,
Not enough. Those are given.
quarterfinals, semifinals.
Yeah, those are given. My standards are very high. I those are expected. We have to win those. We have to win the Super Cup against Villarreal. We have to win the Club World Cup against whoever we play. I forgot who we even played against. So, um, League Cup final, good achievement. We lost because of the refereeing, but again, I always look at the bigger picture. I don't like to look at just one portion of the season. This team had so much potential and all the elements to compete on all fronts, dominate, and we didn't do it. City, by the way, and I'm gonna say it, is not that good. I swear they're not that good. They haven't had a good game in the Premier League for such a long time. I think since they played Arsenal and they won by luck even against Arsenal, they have not been that consistent. In today's game, they are so lucky to go through. Liverpool, a team that was failed to beat us in a 90-minute match this season and was very, very fortunate to get away with it. And I always knew this team has so much potential. Yet again, the club failed to build and to build a squad that can be sustainable. And I'm very frustrated about this. Very excited to see where this is going to go with the new ownership, new model. And I'll tell you this, guys, my expectation, this transfer window specifically, because of the new ownership, I think is going to be exciting. Because whoever we get in, they would want to win the fans over. They're not going to come in first transfer window. They're not going to
All right. Well, Julius, I'm gonna just drop another bomb, as they say. Erling Haaland is gonna be available at his release clause price, €74 million. a good impression would be to sign him.
Yep,
Absolutely. That's a
absolutely.
gift for the fans and get a goodwill. Show us that you want to compete. This is the missing piece we need. Get us Erling Haaland. We are in Champions League. We will be in Champions League next year. Let us compete. Let us go and win a league. It's been 5, 6 years since we won the Premier League. And you look at it this way. Yes, Roman has been a very good owner, but 5 leagues in 20 years is not good enough. I don't care what people say. With the money we spend, it's not good enough. This we have not built a legacy under Roman Abramovich model with a manager. We've built a legacy under him as an owner. Yes, he has been unbelievable, no doubt about it. The passion, the love, no question. I'm talking about the business model. I'm gonna admit something. When we sacked Conte a couple of years ago, because I love Conte so much. Not anymore, not that much anymore. I was Roman out. I was like, I'm done. I'm sick of it. I can't take it anymore. He had a horrendous transfer window after winning the league, and I knew this was gonna happen right after. We were not on YouTube to talk about it back then. I knew we are gonna struggle the season after. What happened? He goes and win the FA Cup. Fans turn against Conte because he spoke out against how bad the board has been and how they don't listen to him. Fans turned against Conte, who just won the league a couple months ago, right? He was still the English champion, and fans were saying we want Conte out. He's very toxic. I was fuming, and I'm like, you know what? Roman has been great for Chelsea and everything, but I'm sick of this. This is not right. This is unacceptable. This is unprofessional. And I was still hurting when we got rid of Lampard, when we got rid of Mourinho. Even that was another one. Like I was one of the people back when we had Mourinho. I was willing to get relegated with Mourinho. That's how much I loved Mourinho. I'm very tribal, you
But
know.
I think the sacking of managers was a tough model, but it worked.
No. This is it's gambling.
We,
Like
we've been the most successful club in the past 20 years
yeah,
in the
five.
Premier
Yes,
League.
sure. 5 leagues, two Champions League. Great. We've been very unfortunate, but 5 leagues in 20 years. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. We've won a lot of cups here and there, sure, but for me, I want to win the league, man. 6 leagues. City have more leagues than us. And ten under. You know what? Under Pep Guardiola, City has won as many leagues as Chelsea under Roman Abramovich ownership. You tell me how is
I,
that acceptable?
I think you know, I mean, we need to move on from this manager thing. This is another area where we can get too sentimental because if we are honest, it's very difficult in modern football to have a manager that you can have longevity with. We're very fortunate at the moment we've found that man in Thomas Tuchel. But people like Mourinho, they don't stay for a long time. They engineer their own way out. And even by his own admission, he was the one that wanted to leave the first time he came in. The second time, it was blatantly obvious why he left. Lampard was not really good enough. Eventually, he did fantastic bringing in the youngsters, but he had run his course. Sarri more or less abandoned us when he saw that there wasn't going to be a transfer window. Conte. So, all these people, there were reasons to get rid of them. The person that might have had an argument would have been Ancelotti. But even he dipped as soon as Ray Wilkins, he lost his number two. So I think we need to move on from, the old sort of managers things. It is what it is. We've been successful with that model. Going forward, we need to keep Tuchel. That is a given because not only does he love the club, show he wants to be in the club. Let me tell you something. All these managers we've mentioned, going through a period like this, they wouldn't have done anything at Chelsea. They would have been spitting their dummy out the pram like crazy, waiting for the season to end for them to jump ship. But Tuchel has really steered the ship. He's taken responsibility when people like Marina were ducking and diving and Bruce Buck not talking to the media. He stood out for the
Bobby,
club.
let me interrupt you for 1 second. Javi, try to connect with a different mic, or if you've got a headset connected to your phone, unplug it and connect again, because your headset or your mic isn't working. That's why it's not allowing me to bring you on. So just unplug your headset and use your phone or use your tablet, whatever it is you're using, without the headset. Again, Bobby, I apologize.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, the job ahead for the new owners is it's very clear. Consolidate the club, consolidate the team at all levels, and then make a statement. If they come in, why shouldn't they go for Erling Haaland? Get him in. Get Lukaku out on loan. They're coming into a clean slate. They're not coming into any debt, so they can do what they want. Get him, get Jules Koundé, get Chouameni, and find a left back. That would really consolidate this club going forward. Don't be afraid to bring back Broja and get rid of Lukaku, or if you bring in you can bring in Haaland and bring back Broja. That those sort of bold statements is what we need going forward, and I think largely they're going to do it because, as you've said, they're going to want to win over the fans quickly.
Mo, can I just say about Haaland quickly? It's just a quick point, right, about Haaland, right? Look, when opportunities like this come around, right, you've got to take them. Like 75 million for Haaland. Look, with the way the money in the market is for a player of his quality, and when you consider players like Maguire going for 80 million, it's a no-brainer for me. And I mean, every club would love to have him, but unfortunately, not many clubs can. And the clubs that can get him, Chelsea's in that bracket. So, in my opinion, we've got to go for him. We've got to go for him. Does that mean he's going to come? No, it doesn't, because at the end of the day, we all know his agent. I mean, Mino Raiola, and apparently his dad has got a say as well. So, look, it's not going to be easy because, as I say, most clubs are going to be in for him. But I mean, we should be in for him. We can't let that opportunity pass, in my opinion, considering the fact that in our front three, the only one producing in terms of goals isn't even a striker, and that's Havertz. So for me, we need to be pushing for Haaland, 75 million, absolute bargain. And I know that's mad to say, 75 million, but he's the quality of the player. You've got to take it. It's an opportunity you can't pass up. So we need to go for it.
Yep. Yep. T dot Julius, you wanna add anything, or you guys?
No, I just
Yeah.
wanted to say I think it's been a successful season to an extent. Did I think it was going to end like this? Nope. I thought we would challenge. I think November, December really hampered us. I think you look at the COVID issues,
Yeah.
like you've all just said. Thomas Tuchel's issues for the Club World Cup as well, not being there for the semi-final, just about making it for the final. For us that was a missing piece in the puzzle, getting that cup. The Club World Cup. So that's a green tick for me. But overall, sort of finishing third, potentially fourth in the season, when in my eyes, my expectations was that we were going to push for the league. You look at the back of the season we had without Lukaku as well. Without Lukaku in that team, Kai Havertz. It's difficult to say it's been a successful season, but at the same time as well, Club World Cup, Super Cup, two big trophies, that are respected in football. So, in my opinion, it's been a decent season, but I think we really need to get this ownership nailed down properly, get the recruitment strategy in place as well. That is the key for me. It's not about who comes in; it's what they do that matters to me. It could be someone with a big, green blobby suit on. I don't care, as long as they know that they've got beneath them the right structure and foundations for the club to be successful. It doesn't matter who comes in for me. I just want someone to be coming in, get the structure right, get the transfer strategy right as well, and then we can kick on for next season. But it's got to be concluded soon. You don't want to be going into the summer, coming to the end of the summer, and we're still in limbo. We still don't know who's going to be the owner. and things like. If it goes into that period, that's when I'll start getting worried about next season. But in terms of this season, yeah, it's been successful to an extent, but I think we can all sit here and say that we should be doing better with the squad that we've got. We should be doing better. We should be pushing for the league. I think I can't remember his name, but we should be trying to win the league every season. That's the benchmark that we should be setting as Chelsea fans. But look, we've won trophies, and we just have to kick on next season.
All right, I'm going to ask you this question, T. Dot. If we win the FA Cup this season with the Super Cup and the Club World Cup, would you, in theory, would you exchange that for the league title? All 3 trophies for the league title?
Yeah, the league is over 38 games.
No. I'm saying if you can have the season back and not win the Club World Cup, not win the Super Cup, and potentially the FA Cup, but you would get the league title. Would you do that?
That's
would
what I'm saying.
You exchange that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because I think the winning the Premier League is not easy. Look now. I think you've got to at least be 97, 98, maybe 100 points over a season to win the Premier League. Winning the Club World Cup is brilliant, of course. It's something that, as Chelsea fans, we've always wanted. The Super Cup, look, if you win the Champions League, the option's there for you to win the Super Cup as well. But I think the Premier League it's harder. It's harder to win. So, like I just said, you look at the benchmark for that City and Liverpool are sort of running with at the moment. It's at least 97, 98 points to win the Premier League. So, would I swap it? 100%. 100% I would, because it's much harder to win that over a course of a season. So I personally would, but I don't know what the rest of the panel would do as well.
Mo, that is such an unfair question. That is such an unfair question.
I'm glad you said it.
I'll tell you why. No, you're right. You're right, Bobby. It's not fair. But there's a reason why I've asked it. It's because potentially we could win the FA Cup, and we've won those 2 other cups, Super Cup, Club World Cup, and people will look back at the season and say it's a failure. And Julius alluded to this. Now, in my opinion, a trophy is something that one of our rivals hasn't seen for 30 years, and they classify themselves as a top 6 team. When we are going to potentially win 3 trophies this season and still look back at it as being unsuccessful.
Well, Mo, I don't. Things are never black and white, ever in life. You cannot call this season unsuccessful. Why? Because so many things have conspired against this club. Just like Chris alluded to earlier, it's been an extraordinary season in terms of what we've had to deal with.
One second. I'm not calling it unsuccessful. I'm saying people will.
I'm responding to those that will, or that may. We've had stuff on the pitch, off the pitch, the football authorities against us, the media, the government, the COVID, the environment. All sorts of things have been thrown at this club. Personal things happening in the lives of players, coaches. It's been very extraordinary, and the fact that the club has come this far, I think, is testimony to the resilience of this club and the fact that truly we are the pride of London. I think we've shown ourselves to be a football club like none other. Having said that, your question about if we win the FA Cup, because it is all about the FA Cup and finishing top 3 right now, that is a target. Yes, the Champions League hurts. It hurts like crazy. But we are Chelsea Football Club. We put our chest out, grit our teeth, and we go again. We get what we can, and we remember that pain at the Bernabeu, because come the next Champions League with the correct squad, the story will be very, very different. So let's just keep our head up high and go for it on Sunday against Crystal Palace. But, you said, would I exchange the trophies we've won now for the Premier League, if that was even a possibility? You know why I'll say no? Because I'm a man of vision. People don't understand really the importance of winning that Club World Cup. That is a prestige trophy, and where it will come to bear is you can already see UEFA talking about, oh, maybe we should have two places for clubs in the Champions League based on their performance history. Well, you have no performance history if you don't sit at the top table of those that hold the Club World Cup. We've got to take prestige trophies seriously because they matter. They matter in the decision-making processes, in seeding. And trust me, the way these guys are, they want to change things every 5 minutes. They probably will have two places for people based on their Champions League and their footballing history. I wouldn't put that beyond them. So yes, we needed that trophy. We've got the trophy. Now we target the Premier League and to go for it again. We don't just win things once and think we've done it. It's repetition over and over and over again. That's what gives you that status. And that's what we should be aspiring for in this club.
Yeah, spot on. Spot on. Hey, listen, for me it was a joyful, exciting, emotional event winning the Club World Cup. We spoke about this last season, or at the end of the season when we won the Champions League. Me, you, DJ, and Max, we were saying, this is the one we want. This is the one that's going to mean the most. And people say it's a friendly. You only have to win a couple of games to get it and whatnot. They play it down, plastic trophy, etc., etc. But listen, they don't know the value of it because they've never won it and they'll never win it. They'll never win it. And for me, winning that trophy it really is emotional. It really is emotional, and I wouldn't exchange it for the Premier League. FA Cup, Super Cup, brilliant. The Club World Cup. We will probably win the Premier League again in the next couple of seasons, but will we get a chance to play for the Club World Cup again in the next couple of seasons? I don't think so. So it's big from that perspective.
Let's hope we will, but I know
hopefully, hopefully, hopefully.
It is a huge trophy to win, mammoth.
Now, what, Mo? Can I just say, you know why I wouldn't, right? And it sounds mad because any other time I would. You know why I wouldn't swap it is because the fact is that Club World Cup was the only trophy we needed to complete the cabinet, and that's why I would not swap. What was the question? Super Cup, Club World Cup, and if we win the FA Cup for a league title, any other season, the league title is the league title, and we'll probably win it again. But because this season, and considering what we went through, and we completed that last trophy, and Roman Abramovich was before the great Abramovich was sanctioned, it just means a lot more. And as you say, all the people saying, it's a glorified friendly. We'll win the Champions League then you compete in the competition, then you know how it feels. But unfortunately for them, they don't know how that feels. So, I wouldn't swap it. That Club World Cup, yes, we've got it. We've got it. They haven't. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Julius, are you back? He's still not on your call. I think Julius is still on his call. All right, guys. It's been a fantastic stream. Tomorrow is deadline day. So we may be streaming tomorrow evening to discuss the developments in regards to the ownership of Chelsea Football Club, the bids and whatnot. I'll be streaming if there is a development, if there is something that we need to be discussing. Hopefully there is something, and hopefully there is something positive. but we will not know until tomorrow. And if there is something, you will see a stream here on the Blue Lounge. Lads, we are gonna have a special stream on Saturday. Saturday, 6 p.m. UK time will be the 10,000 subscriber special. I have invited a very special guest. Eunice Talks Football will be joining us on Saturday afternoon to celebrate the 10,000 subscribers special. I will also be doing a giveaway on the day, so hopefully you guys will be there for that. I see in the chat Minerals FC. Haven't seen you on my stream for a while. Minerals, Johnny, big up to you. Welcome. Hope you're doing good, my brother. I hope you're doing good. We're just about to wrap up the show. Hopefully we'll see you in future streams, Johnny.
Johnny,
good to see you.
I love that guy. I love
Oh,
him.
great guy. Very passionate. He has strong opinions about a lot of things, and hopefully we'll have him on the channel in the near future, and I'll be looking forward to it. So Johnny, thanks for popping by, guys. Great stream, great discussion, great chat. We will be back potentially tomorrow, definitely Saturday afternoon for a special show. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for taking part, and make sure you go subscribe to T-Dot's channel from the Sheds End podcast. Make sure you give him a subscription, and I will see you all in the next stream. Have a good night, people. Take care. Peace.